Hey love, what's up? Welcome to Confidently Uncomfortable. I'm your host Jago, health and lifestyle coach and not so regal confidence queen. Coming at you with the real, the raw, and of course, the uncomfortable. My mission is to show you that to be confident, it has absolutely nothing to do with being perfect or having it all together, and everything to do with you getting uncomfortable and pushing your limits. Thanks for joining me. Let's dive in. Well, welcome to my podcast. My husband literally just made fun of me because he's now calling this the Confidently Under Comforter podcast instead of uncomfortable, because we are currently traveling with his PA rotation. So I don't have my usual spot for podcasting, and it's kind of made me feel a little off with my routine of when to record and how to record and what that looks like. And it actually really plays well into today's topic about how to habit hack, how to form habits that stick, and how to just dive in when and where to just kind of leap in and take messy action. So it's pretty ironic that he is talking to me about this and we're talking about habits, because even just my habits when it comes to my work, life can disrupt them. And right now, I don't know about y'all, but this is recording when things are starting to change. Fall season, which I'm obsessed with. Yes, I'm basic. I love everything fall. I love everything pumpkin spice. Yes, give me a pumpkin. I'm going to just rub pumpkin spice on everything, eat it. Like it's there. I totally am just that girl. And that's okay. I'm accepting it. But fall also brings change. And I don't know if you feel this within you, but if you have felt stuck for quite a while, especially if you're listening to this in 2020 and you've been feeling like it's March 520th day of the year, it's time to really seek that change. And a lot of times we go into this desire for change without actually having a clear vision. And I've talked about that. So if you're interested in learning more about your vision, there are some earlier podcasts about setting your vision that I had launched back in January of 2019. But today I'm going to really talk about how to habit hack. So you're going to learn all about like my tricks and tips that work for me, how you can really implement them into your life. So be ready to take notes, or at least take some mental notes until you have time to pull over and take some real notes, write some things down. So looking forward to this episode. These are tricks and tips that I help with my actual Body Confident Blueprint clients. And I'm going to also share some exciting things that I've been working on with my own personal goals. So I'm excited to just really dive into that today. So as far as setting goals, I think a lot of times we tell ourselves like, oh, I really want to make change. Like I talked about fall being a season of change. Maybe you're feeling that desire to change, but your goals right now are very general. You're very much like, oh, I want to eat healthier, or I want to work out more, or anything like that. And those goals, there's nothing wrong with them per se, but they're so vague that there's no action behind it. And then also, a lot of times our habits are not actually supporting our goals. So if you were to audit your day and everything throughout your day, are those actions that you're taking or not taking actually supporting or inhibiting the changes and goals that you want to achieve? And so auditing your life is really a first step into making positive change for you. So take some time and really audit, like, okay, what am I currently doing? What are my current habits? So it's really important to identify what our current habits are. We all have things that we do, like when we finish off with work, we maybe immediately go and turn on the TV and we sit down on the couch and hours pass by. And so that's a habit that we've done that we don't even realize it's a habit within us. Or that after you eat dinner, you always crave dessert. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just a habit that you don't even think about it. You're just immediately opening up the freezer and starting to eat something. So I'm here to make you more of a active participant in your life. You're actually going to make these choices, and you're going to be more aware of those choices that you're making. And it starts with, like I said, awareness. So be aware of what you're doing throughout the day. Be aware of your current habits. We all have a habit loop. We all have something that basically cues our habits and cues a reward. So examples I'll kind of get into are, you have like a cue, routine, and reward response. And so that's called the habit loop. And it's with every single thing that we do. It has a cue, a routine, and a reward. So the cue kicks the brain into automatic mode. It tells it which habit to use. So there's some cue, and then our brain has like a shortcut. Think about it like a shortcut on your computer. And it's like, oh, we are cued this, that means I need to have these actions follow. And then that's where the routine comes in, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional response. And then that routine is followed by some sort of reward, which is like a prize telling your brain this loop is worth remembering for future use. So this little shortcut loop is worth keeping. It's worth having as a habit. And you can do this with any types of habits you want to create or model. So basically, figuring out what habit you have currently and which ones you want to change. So right now, an example of a habit that a lot of people deal with is drinking at the end of the day. So let's say, again, I'm all for things in moderation. I do drink, but I think a lot of times we drink without making the active decision to have a drink. We just think, oh, that's what I do at the end of the day. It's what we've trained our brains to do. So the cue is I walk into the door or I shut my computer at the end of the day from work, and my brain is like, oh, I am tired. I deserve a drink. So the routine is that you're going to grab a drink and drink it. And the reward is that your brain feels like it can relax. It feels like you're allowed to let go and not think about work and not stress. And so that cues you to have the response of like, when I drink, I feel relaxed and not stressed. And I continue to do this as a routine and habit for my day. Now, there's nothing wrong with wanting to relax after work. But if you were trying to tell yourself, I want to drink less, or I don't want to drink during the week, instead of saying, I'm not going to drink during the week and not actually breaking down the habit loop, you can really sit down and figure out what can I do instead. So for example, after you finish work, you have the cue originally to you're tired and you go and grab a drink. Instead, redo that cue. So if after work, let's say that you want to have a stress relief. I'm going to use running as an example. You can input anything. So let's just say the cue is that you're stressed and you want to kind of take a break. Let's say that you have your alarm go off and it says go for a run, your clothes are set out, and those are your visual cues that are helping you remember to do that. Your routine would be that you immediately go outside after you finish work, whether that's going on a walk or a run, and your reward are those endorphins of having moved your body and you feel good about it. So you actually do relax. So you're still getting the same reward of feeling like you are relaxed and you're feeling like you're letting go of work and not thinking about it, not feeling as stressed. But that whole habit loop is a little bit more healthier, and maybe it's one that is reflecting what your goals are for your personal fitness. And so instead of feeling like you're depending and you're robotically grabbing a drink, you get to make a choice on what that is. Now, if some days it is a drink, that's fine. But instead of making it be in a response to a stressful environment, you're doing it in more of a conscious way. So I hope that's making sense to you. So, where do you start? If you're like, okay, you're right, I want to start having these healthy habits, I should really think about what these need to be. I'm going to help you figure out where to start. So, this is where you would take notes. Identifying your habit loops. So, how do you do that? You need to audit your current habits. So, what you would do is literally audit your day. Write down literally everything you do from the second you wake up to the morning, the second you lay down and close your eyes to go to bed. This is super important because you might not recognize what you do. So, for example, when you wake up, is the first thing you do grab your phone and then sit in bed and scroll for 30 minutes to an hour before you even get out of bed. If this is a case, that's a habit that you're doing that you don't even recognize. When you go to sleep, are you also scrolling on your phone? There are other habits that you're doing, like I said, with when you come home. When you come home, do you immediately lay on the couch and start pressing play for watching TV? So all of these are habits you might currently do. There also might be some habits that you do that are actually really healthy. Let's say that you are currently going on a walk at lunch, and that's awesome, but you also want to add another habit to that. So figuring out what you're currently doing that you want to do more of, that's a really good way to identify it too. So you're auditing the good, the bad, and the ugly. There's not necessarily a good or bad, but there's probably things that you want to do more of and things that you want to do less of currently if you were to audit your day. So identifying that is the first step. And then creating cues around it. So like I was talking about earlier with the drinking, the cue is already there. You don't even recognize it. So right now, it's really good if you have habits that aren't great that you want to change, you need to first identify the cue. What is causing you to react in that way? What is causing you to have that habit? And if it's drinking, it could be that you're feeling stressed. So instead of saying, I need to stop drinking, you need to say, I need to replace drinking with something else that's going to replace my stress, and save drinking for the weekend or not at all. It's really up to you. But I just want you to be making more of a conscious decision. So setting up cues to help you. So let's talk about cues. You can have a lot of different types of cues using all five senses, and that's a really good way to just have your brain establish it as a habit and have the cue basically say, hey, it's this time. So auditory cues can be verbal. So think like a verbal commitment saying to someone, I'm going to do this, whether it's your partner, your gym buddy, accountability buddy, group, coworkers, whatever, having a verbal commitment, saying it out loud, even just saying it out loud to yourself is going to help you stay committed to what change you want to make. Music is also a great auditory cue. So if you are trying to work out in the morning, maybe starting your day with having some music playing as you're getting your clothes together, as you're waking up, and increasing the energy so then you have energy for your workout. It could be if you're wanting to work out after work, starting to play that music that's high energy. And so that's cueing you like, hey, we're about to go for a workout. It's going to feel great. And it gets you in the mood to actually do those things. And it also is creating a habit. So when you're not feeling as motivated, you're still disciplined in doing what you know you want to do for yourself. The other thing can be as simple as the ding of an alarm. So if you're wanting to wake up earlier, setting your alarm earlier. Now, if you're someone who presses snooze, my recommendation there is to plug your phone somewhere that is not reachable, or get an alarm that is not your phone, because if you're constantly on your phone in the morning and at night in bed, you need to get an old school alarm to break up with that habit. So be aware of how much time you're spending on your phone. I know that's a random caveat, but it's just so important. So if you are struggling with habit hacking, it's probably because there are other things that are vying for your attention, that are trying to pull you away from what your own personal goals are. And typically, I'm seeing it with people on screens. I'm seeing it with social media. So be aware of your time being more important and prioritizing your needs and your desires over basically what society is trying to get you to do, what advertising agencies are trying to do. They're trying to pull your attention towards them, and you need to pull it back towards you and what you want for yourself. So that was a long caveat, but just want you to think about that. So auditory cues are really great. Visual cues are awesome too. So there are a lot of different visual cues, but an example could be putting your workout on a calendar. So throwing it into Google Calendar, having it on there. It can be visual cues like setting out your gym clothes the night before. It could be visual cues like if you're trying to eat healthier, why don't you cut up your fruits and veggies and put them at eye level in your fridge? So then every time you open the fridge and say, I'm hungry, you're able to focus on things that you can grab that are actually healthy for you, opposed to grabbing things that are snacky that you might overeat and not want to overeat. Again, I'm not saying that you can't have those things, but if you have specific goals, you have to set your actions that are supporting those goals. Having a water bottle that tracks your progress with water, that's a great visual cue. So one that tells you like this is how much you need to have for the day, that you want to have it by this time. That's a great visual cue. Even the action of having a water bottle by your bed in the morning can be something that helps you like immediately drink water when you wake up in the morning. Sticky notes are great too, as well as having some sort of a countdown that can kind of be motivating. Another thing with a calendar is if you like put a little check mark or something on your calendar every single day you do whatever that new habit is, your brain is going to see the check marks start to add up, and that can be a great visual cue to help you stick with it. It's similar to like an Apple Watch or a Fit Watch, that kind of Apple Watches do like that fit ring, and it's the idea of closing the ring. That visual cue of closing the ring is motivating to you, and then you can see on a full calendar how many days you close the ring. And so that's a great visual cue if you have something like that. But if you don't have a smartwatch, that's totally fine. You can use that on your own with a calendar, and you can use check marks. And I love having things written down in a physical, like paper stuff. So I'm a physical calendar person when it comes to that. You seriously can just incorporate all five senses to create a trigger and instill a habit that sticks. So for example, my bedtime routine, I incorporate smell, taste, and touch. So what I mean by that is when I'm closing down for the night, I will plug up my phone. I will start some aromatherapy, like so any kind of like lavender or anything that just helps me smell, like the essential oils that are going to make me feel relaxed. I'm going to put on comfortable pajama clothes. I'm going to make tea, so that's like a tasting sense. So having like that sleepy time tea and that warm liquid, that helps just help me relax and unwind and know and trigger to my body like it's time to relax. Stop feeling so like you need to get your to-do list done. That can wait till tomorrow. So it's a really good place to start as far as setting up cues. So be sure, in order to stick to your habits, to use your cues, be prepared, Write it out, commit to it, make sure it's specific actions. What are you going to do to get closer to your goal? How are you going to do this? What cues are you going to use? And then also, what ways are you going to stay prepared? Write it out. Start with your mornings. That's a really good place to go. Mornings and evenings with routines, and then really start small. So if you're saying that you want to work out more, instead of overwhelming yourself and saying like, I need to go to the gym 2 days, 5 days a week, like that is something that is holding you back. Instead, lower the height of entry, lower the level of entry. So instead say, I'm going to get movement in every day for at least 20 minutes. So 20 minutes of movement. And let's just start with walking. And then as you get more comfortable with that being a routine in the morning, you can maybe start to incorporate an actual workout. And walking can be a really good, honestly, great physical movement. Don't count it out. I definitely believe in walking as a part of your physical routine, but using it as a lower, like it's less scary. Instead of saying you're going to run 5 miles every day, let's just start with walking 5 miles, or let's start with walking 3 and running 1 or 2. And so just slowly increase it and have those habits start small and congratulate yourself for those habits. Reward those habits in a positive way, telling yourself like, that you've achieved that. Focus on the good things that you are achieving and not so much on the things that you feel like you're lacking. That negative mindset of saying like, oh, I didn't do it perfectly, like that's what's holding you back. It's very easy to think, well, it's not the right time. Like I'm not gonna be able to do the perfect meal plan. I'm not gonna be able to do the perfect routine. I don't have enough time. Like work's too crazy. I gotta wait till after the holidays. And that is just hurting you. You said that last year, right? You said that months ago and it's still happening. Instead of waiting for the perfect time, you need to just start. You need to just choose one habit that you want to continue with and really break it down. And then once you've proved to yourself, oh, I can hit my water goal every single day, add on another habit to it. So basically just proving to yourself, I can continue to do this. And if you start small and start to stack your habits, that's going to make real change in your life. You can use this method again and again in every single aspect of your life. You can use it with work and different goals you have for work. You can use it with physical goals. You can use it with personal goals. As long as you lower that level of entry, that's what's going to help you take the first step. So if you start to make these giant goals, there's nothing wrong with it, but create small steps behind it and kind of have a timeline for, okay, I want to start doing this consistently. And then by the end of the month, I'll start to run. And then think about it like crawl, walk, run, sprint. You're working your way up to that. So instead of thinking like, I'm going to have to go do a marathon, you're going to think, okay, I'm just going to start with going on a stroll. And that's where you go. And that's what's really going to help you move forward. So I hope that this was helpful for you as far as making first steps. I want you to not focus on perfection and trying to always find the perfect time, and really focus on progress and getting started taking action. So example with this is like, I am in a space right now where recording podcasts, it's never going to sound perfect right now. It's never going to be the perfect time. I'm literally under a comforter right now, getting uncomfortable, as my husband would say. But I still need to show up for you guys, and that's what matters. It's really about just showing up for yourself, okay? So as you're making these habits, remind yourself of your why, remind yourself that it's just one small step at a time. Focus on the step in front of you and not looking up so hard at how far you have to go, because that is what's going to be overwhelming and that is what's going to hold you back. As far as making changes and refocusing on yourself, I am really, really excited because I'm actually hosting a virtual retreat. So I was supposed to be hosting my Go retreat this year, but everything's been going on with Corona 2020. And listen, I want to be safe, I want to be smart, but I also want to connect with you all. So I am hosting a retreat, and it's actually a fundraiser. And the fundraiser is going to help the Loveland Foundation, which is a foundation that helps bring counseling and therapy to Black women and children, women and girls. And I love what this foundation stands for. So I'm bringing all profits are going to that program. I'm doing this truly from the bottom of my heart. I know this is a crazy time right now for people. I know a lot of us can feel like we have not taken time to prioritize our needs. And I want to basically help you feel like you're reaching your wellness goals, you're getting support, you have community, but you're also making change in the world. So that's why I created this Go Retreat. That's going to be the virtual Go Retreat. It's going to be on November 7th and 8th. That's a Saturday and a Sunday. And what I'm doing is I'm breaking it up to where it's going to be half days. So that way, if you have something going on the weekend, you can still really devote your mornings to yourself. So that's going to be Saturday, the November 7th from 9 a.m. until 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then Sunday, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The cost of this is going to be $47. If you can only make one of the days, you're going to get a recording for both, and it is a wellness retreat. So you're going to be I'm bringing in different guests that are going to be teaching yoga and restorative meditation. I'm going to be having a group of girls that are going to be teaching hip hop and dance classes, because I cannot dance. That is the one thing I cannot teach as far as group fitness. So I'm pumped about that. And I'm also going to be having a fun boot camp class. So you're going to get to have a lot of movement, but then there's also going to be some mindset work and collaboration that you're going to work on together. So it's going to be a really, really great weekend for you to just refocus on your goals, sit down and really prioritize your needs. And while you're doing that, you're making a difference in the lives of women all around the country and helping bring therapy and counseling to them that they need. So I'm really, really passionate about this event. I would love for you to join. Ticket sales are going out on the 18th, so I will make sure that I add the link in here. But if it's not in here in the show notes, go to my Instagram at JGoFitLife, and it should be in the bio by then, just in case. You know me, I'm not perfect. So if it's not in the show notes because I forgot it for some reason, go right now to at JGoFitLife on Instagram, and it should be in my bio, so you can get your ticket. $47, and you're going to get the recordings after. And if you can only make it to one of the days, that's fine. You're going to get the recordings for both. But I'm so pumped for this event. I want you to go. And I really want you to actually get a small group of girls to do it with you, so you can really kind of help support each other going forward with your goals, with habits you want to create, with the lifestyle change you want in your life. This is going to be a really good event for that. And it's something where we can create that community. Even if you do it as an online thing where you're FaceTime each other throughout the retreat, that's what some of my BCB alumni are going to do. I highly recommend you do that. However, if you're like, I don't really know, I'm going to just show up and be you. That's totally fine. You don't have to bring everyone. It's really great for you as an individual, but I do want to share the love and I want to make the biggest impact for the Loveland Foundation as much as possible. So if you know people that would be interested in donating into this, even if they can't show up for the weekend event, $47, that's all it takes to make a really big difference and change some lives. So thank you guys for listening today. I'll see you guys next time, and hopefully I'll see you at the virtual Go Retreat on November 7th and 8th. See you then. Bye. Thanks again for listening to Confidently Uncomfortable. I love being able to connect with you here, and honestly, don't want it to end. So head over to my Facebook group, Body Confident Blueprint, and be sure to follow me on Insta at JGoFitLife. Also, if you're ready to get real confidently uncomfortable, go leave this podcast a 5-star review and email me the review screenshot, support@jgofit360.com, for a chance to win a free 30-minute fitness audit and goal setting session. I appreciate your support. See you next time.